Have you found yourself scrolling through food reels on Instagram, or thinking about your next meal, or just daydreaming about food even when you're not hungry? Don't worry, you are not alone. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Siddharth Warrior. I'm a neurologist, and in today's video, we are going to talk about food noise, which is the constant reminding of food that happens in your brain. Also, there is a giveaway at the end of the video, so stick around and have a chance to win a BigBasket voucher. So why is food always on our minds? It's more than just hunger or cravings. There is a psychological reason behind it, and it is called food noise. You might have heard of emotional eating, which is when people eat to fill an emotional gap. But food noise is different. It is that constant chatter in your brain about food even when you're not hungry. So what is the real difference? Let's break it down. Now, the word food noise sounds a bit strange. In simple words, it is the constant thoughts about food going on in your brain about what to eat, when to eat, where to eat, and also about whether what you ate was right and wrong. Think about it. How many times at work or at home have you found yourself thinking about food when you were supposed to be thinking about something else? That is food noise. It can be super distracting and it can take up a lot of your brain space. So why does this happen? The most important reason is environment. Now, your brain is evolved to value food a lot, and there is a network in the brain that is built on dopamine. And this network is very powerful. It runs on all your 5 senses, and anything in your environment that can remind you about food activates this network. So for example, if you hear somebody unwrapping a chocolate, or if you see somebody taking a bite of an ice cream, or if you smell hot samosas being fried, all these impulses can go into your brain even when you are not consciously aware that you have seen or heard or smelt these things. And then you'll find yourself thinking about food without even knowing why. It could even be a weather cue. For example, when it rains, you start thinking of chai and bhajia, or say if it is cold and you think, oh, what would it be like to have some hot Maggi right now? All these cues lead to you having food noise. There are other reasons like food insecurity. For example, if you don't know where your next meal is coming from, you might end up thinking about food a lot more. There is also social pressure and dieting. You know, the constant pressure to eat perfectly and to follow the latest diet. The more we restrict and control what we eat and how we eat, the more you may end up thinking about it, and it leads to food noise. This is rooted in what psychologists call reactance, which is the more we say no to something, the more we end up thinking about that thing. Now, what's the difference between this and emotional eating? Emotional eating is something that I believe we are all kind of guilty about, which is eating to fill some emotional void, which is if you are feeling sad or low, reaching out for some food can help us feel better. We turn to food for comfort, which is perfectly normal, but it's only when it becomes a habit or a crutch that it is a problem. Now, what is the psychological impact of food noise? The first and most important thing is mental distraction. Constantly having thoughts about food in our brain makes us unable to focus on work and other important things going on. This is not just a modern issue. Research found that in World War II, food scarcity caused even soldiers and civilians who did not have access to food were distracted, and their productivity and focus were drastically affected because of that. The other psychological impact is overeating and guilt because of overeating. Having food noise is like having a constant reminder in your brain to keep eating, and that can lead to a significant amount of guilt. And that can lead to 2 problems. One is gaining weight, and number 2 is guilt on the overeating. And very often this becomes a spiral problem, which is when you overeat and you put on weight, you add more guilt, which leads to more stress, and the way to deal with stress can become eating. So this is how food noise and emotional eating can be linked with each other. Now, how do we deal with this problem? Stay engaged in activities. Keeping your mind occupied with hobbies, spending time with friends, and engaging your mind in work that you find interesting is a very important part in taking care of your mental health and getting rid of food noise. Gradually, food becomes a part of your day and not the center of it. Having a regular eating schedule is extremely important. Knowing that this is the time for you to eat and the rest of the day is for all the other activities allows your brain to have clear-cut distinctions between eating time and non-eating times. Mindful eating, and this is something that your parents and your grandparents have told you many times when you were a kid, which is when you are eating, focus on what you eat. Far too often when we eat, our mind is distracted by some things that we are watching on our TV or our mobile screens, and your brain does not fully process how much you have eaten. Instead of rushing through your food, slow down, enjoy your meal, taste your food and you'll find that you are more satiated, that is, you're more satisfied with what you've eaten. This helps to break that mental chatter and allows you to reconnect with your body's natural hunger cycles. And finally, learn to challenge your thoughts and to say no. So when your food noise kicks in and your brain suggests that, hey, why don't you go eat that? Learn to ask yourself, why? Why should I? Am I really hungry? And if not, say no. This might seem difficult at first, but like any other habit, this also becomes stronger and better with practice. Now, here's your chance to win a BigBasket voucher. What are the 2 psychological impacts of food noise that I mentioned earlier in the video? If you know the answer, put it down in the comments below and one lucky person will get an exciting voucher from BigBasket. Now, maybe food noise isn't something that you think about, but it is something that affects a lot of us. And more we are realizing how much food dominates our mind, not only because of environment, but also because of capitalism and the way that the market is structured. We are constantly being pressured to think about food. I hope that this video gives you something to think about, and I also hope that some of the solutions that I shared with you will come in useful. Share this video with your friends and family and let me know what you think about our relationship with food. If you found this video useful, hit the like button, subscribe to the BigBasket channel, and I will see you guys soon in the next video. Bye everyone, take care.